Time never stops, even for the greatest love story ever told. What happens when the world moves forward, but the heart still remembers the past? The mist rolls gently across the wide fields of England. The air feels quiet, almost too quiet, as if the land itself is holding its breath. Years have passed since Elizabeth Bennet first walked through the halls of Pemberley. Since Mr. Darcy finally let his guarded heart speak. People believe their story ended in happiness and peace. And forever. But forever is not as simple as it seems. In the soft light of dawn, the grand estate stands tall, yet something feels different. Behind the beauty, behind the silence, emotions still linger, waiting to rise again. Elizabeth is older now, her eyes still sharp, her spirit still strong. But time has changed the way she smiles. She stands by a window, looking out, lost in thought. The world around her is still filled with rules, whispers, and expectations. Marriage gave her love, but it also gave her a new kind of challenge. The kind that does not come with laughter or dancing, but with long quiet moments and questions no one dares to ask. She wonders, can love remain untouched by time? Mr. Darcy walks through the halls of Pemberley with the same pride in his posture, but there is weight in his silence. He has everything society praises: wealth, respect, honor, but inside, he feels a distance he cannot name. The man who once fought for love now battles something far quieter, something far deeper. Because even the strongest love can be tested, not by strangers, but by life itself. And so, the story begins again. Not with the first meeting, but with what comes after. When the fairy tale ends, and real life begins, pride awakens once more. Prejudice still hides in shadows, and the hearts of Elizabeth and Darcy may be pulled into a new chapter they never expected. The peaceful life at Pemberley does not stay calm for long. Beneath the elegant dinners and polite conversations, something stirs quietly. Like a storm forming far away, Elizabeth senses it first. She hears the whispers in town, the soft voices at gatherings, the way people look at her as if they are searching for cracks in her perfect marriage. Society still watches her, still judges her, and she begins to feel the weight of a world that never truly changes. One evening, a letter arrives. The seal is unfamiliar, the handwriting sharp and urgent. Elizabeth opens it with trembling fingers, and with every word, her face grows pale. It speaks of someone returning, someone connected to Darcy's past. A name she has never heard before, but one that clearly holds meaning. The past, which she thought was buried, suddenly feels alive again. Questions rise in her mind, unanswered and heavy. What did Darcy never tell her? What part of his life remains hidden? Darcy, too, is unsettled. When he learns of the letter, his expression changes, and for the first time in years, Elizabeth sees that old distance in his eyes. He tries to remain calm, but something in him tightens, as if he is bracing for something painful. Pride has always been his armor, but now even that armor begins to crack. Elizabeth wants to ask, wants to demand the truth, yet she hesitates, because love is fragile when secrets stand between two hearts. As days pass, the air between them grows colder, not from hate, but from unspoken fear. Elizabeth walks through the grand halls that once felt full of promise, but now feel endless and quiet. Darcy watches her from afar, wanting to reach out, but unsure how. The love they fought so hard for is still there, but it is being tested by something neither expected. And then, news spreads. A visitor is coming to Pemberley. Someone from the past. Someone who may change everything. The peace is breaking, pride is rising again, and prejudice, like a shadow, slowly returns. The days grow heavier as the visitor finally arrives. Carriage wheels roll across the stone path, stopping at the grand entrance of Pemberley. Elizabeth stands still, her heart racing, as she watches Darcy step forward with a look she cannot fully read. The door opens, and a figure appears well-dressed, confident, carrying a smile that feels too sharp. The stranger's eyes linger on Elizabeth, then return to Darcy with a knowing expression. In that moment, Elizabeth realizes this is not just an old friend. This is someone who carries unfinished history. At the next social gathering, the tension becomes impossible to hide. The room is filled with candlelight, music, and polite laughter, but beneath it all, every word feels like it could cut. Elizabeth notices how people glance at Darcy, how they whisper behind fans and glasses. The stranger speaks smoothly, telling stories of the past, each one sounding harmless, yet each one placing another stone between Elizabeth and her husband. Darcy remains quiet, his jaw tight, his pride holding him back from explaining. Elizabeth feels torn inside. She wants to trust Darcy, to believe that love is stronger than doubt. But society presses in from every side, reminding her that a woman's place is to obey, not question. Yet Elizabeth has never been one to stay silent. She walks alone through the garden, struggling with anger, sadness, and fear. She wonders if marriage has changed her, or if it has only placed her in a different kind of cage. Darcy, too, faces his own battle. Honor means everything to him. The name of his family, the expectations of society, the image of strength. He has carried it all for years. But now, love demands something else. It demands truth, vulnerability, and the courage to let pride fall away. He watches Elizabeth pull further into herself, and it hurts more than any insult ever could. Storm clouds gather above Pemberley, both in the sky and in their hearts. Voices rise behind closed doors. Words are spoken that cannot be taken back. And in the middle of it all, Elizabeth must decide: does she walk away from the life she fought for, or does she fight once more, not against society, but for her marriage itself? The rain falls hard against the windows of Pemberley, echoing the storm inside to wounded hearts. Elizabeth stands at the edge of the grand hall, her eyes filled with doubt and strength. Darcy watches her, silent, longing to speak, but pride still holds him back. The stranger's arrival has awakened old wounds, and society's eyes are sharper than ever. Love is still there, but can it survive what comes? Next, some stories do not end. They begin again. Pride and Prejudice 2. Coming 2026.